sa atong mga kaigsuonan sa kahanginan. Nanasab kita adlaw nga Lunes din sa programa nato sa atong number 1 na radio station, ang Malindang Broadcasting Network 104.7 FM sa dial sa inyong mga radio. Aro ato na usab nga tukyon ang mga isyu nga dunay kalambigitan sa atong mga estudyante magtutudlo sa ato ang mga tulunghaan dinhi sa Pagadian ug sa sikbit nga mga probinsya. Good morning kanitong tanan. Good morning.
Yes, and usab no ato ang i-greet o good morning ang ato ang kinakusdang SDS sa Pagadian City, Sir Danny Cordova. Ingon man usab ang ato ang Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Emoricha. Good morning ninyong tanan. Ingon man usab ang ato ang mga staff din ha sa City Division. Maayong buntag o salamat sa pagpaminaw kanamo karong adlaw. And of course, maayong buntag usab sa ato ang duha ka partners pod, no? Pero mamintigin nato sila makauban sa matag adlaw Lunes. Si Ma'am Mila Araw, ingon man usab si Sir Salem Uya. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am. Asa ilahang. Okay. Madunggan na, ma'am? Okay. Hello, Sir Salem. How are you?
Ma'am, very fine, ma'am Shay.
Okay. Very fine, no? Maayo kay ato ang nahibalan niya. Okay, jud kaayo ato ang duha ka Fs sa science at sa mathematics. Okay, Sir Dean.
Ato sang before nato sugdan ma'am no, atong ibalik og pangumusta ang ato ang School Division Superintendent, ang atong artikon o kugihan nga si Sir Danny D. Cordova, CISO 6, ang atong Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Maria Colina Moricha, o nga atong duha ka chiefs, isa Danny D. Cabahog, o si Ma'am Maria Diosa Z. Peralta. Okay, ma'am, ang ato karong duha karon nato ka maartikon nga EPS diha. Good morning kaninyong diha, sir, ma'am. Ma'am, si, unsa may atong unahon aning niya?
Murag science na. Science. Ready na kaayo si Mamila. So, Mamil, it's your time to introduce your teacher radio broadcasters.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ma'am Sue. Good morning again, time for science. DEPED PAGADIAN. Karon aduna sa kagay dynamic and competence discussion for June and Monday. We have with us Mr. Jeffrey Marquez, Teacher 3, and Mr. Dino Rosao, Teacher 3 from Protection National High School. We discuss about this competency is how species diversity increases the probability of adaptation and survival of organisms in changing environments, and know the relationship between population growth and soil interaction. So, Dino and Michelle, our students are expected to be able to explain how species diversity increases the probability of adaptation and survival in changing environments, and to be able to explain the relationship between population growth and soil interaction. Very interesting.
Magandang buhay sa tanang tigpaminaw nato karon. Good morning, Teacher Chris.
Maayong buhay, Teacher B, and to all of our listeners, especially to our grade 10 students.
Before we start, first of all, let us give thanks to our God for this wonderful day He has given us. Lord, salamat sa higayon nga imong gihatag kanamo karong adlaw, and thank you for giving us wisdom as we are going to discuss a very important topic today. Guide our listeners and may we all learn something new. Amen. We are very happy that you are with us today.
And we hope that you are now ready to listen and learn. By the way, I am Teacher Jack Chris.
And ako po si Teacher B.
your teacher broadcasters for today. Just stay tuned in our station because we will make sure that our entire duration will be an informative and productive one.
So unsa pa inyong gihulat? Come on, please join us in exploring our lesson for today. Our dear students, please get your pen and paper because we will discuss the Module 7 of the third quarter for Science 10, entitled Ecosystem Biodiversity.
Sakto ba akong pagdungog, Teacher Ruby? Biodiversity?
Yes, you heard it right. Today, we will be talking about Module 7, Biodiversity. So, Teacher Chris, unsa man atong gi-expect na makuha sa students after aning atong lesson?
Well, to answer that question, right after this module, students are expected to explain how species diversity increases the probability of adaptation and survival of organisms in changing environments, and explain the relationship between population growth and carrying capacity.
So, students, ready na ba mo to achieve those expectations from you? Do not worry, guys, because we will be your partners in achieving those things, and together, we sure can make it. Before anything else, Teacher Chris, let's highlight first yung mga task na dapat nilang himuon for this topic.
For our first task, let us proceed to page 3, entitled What's In? In the previous lesson, you learned about the organism's ability to adapt and survive in a given environment. Let us have a quick review of these concepts.
In this part, you will tell whether each picture shows adaptation or survival. Isulat nimo ang answer in the space provided on the module. This task needs you to be keen observant because you need to clearly identify the actions of the animals in order for you to write the correct answer.
Do not worry.
Hello. Oh, hello. 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 Saan, ma'am? Wala. Ay, wala. Hello.
Need to research the words listed on Activity 2 and Activity 3 of your modules. You may use the internet, the dictionary, or any other means.
Take note, students, you need to research the words based on the biological science context. It's very important that you know the meanings of these words because it will make your next task easier to read and understand.
You got it, students? I know nakuha ra jud. Please stay tuned in our station because later on, we will be giving clues or we will discuss on how to answer the assessment part of this module.
Okay, are you still there, students? Just maintain your focus, Open your module on page 10 entitled What I Can Do. I think they are on the same page with me, right, Teacher Ruby?
Definitely. In this part, please look at the given example in each item. Select the best way to use each of the resources in order to conserve it. Write a brief explanation of your choice. Please take note of the directions provided and refer to the rubric so that you will be guided in doing the activity.
So think, Jude, mga students, Very important ni kay para na ay application in learning for today.
Right. And for the additional activities in page 13, you will be asked to write an essay on the effects of human activity on the biodiversity of your community. Be guided by the following questions in your output.
Right, Teacher Ruby, these are the following questions that we have to answer. Number 1, how is biodiversity adversely affected by human activity? Number 2, what specific activities do you suggest to reduce these negative effects?
So if naamoy mga clarification, you can always go back and read to what is it section of your module.
Alright, we are done highlighting all the tasks in our module. At this moment, we will now be discussing the concepts in our module, so brace yourselves, students. Alright, turn to page 5 of your module entitled What is It? So that you can follow our discussion. Teacher Ruby, dili na ta sa main discussion point of this module. Let's dive in on the most important part. Let me start by asking you this question. what is biodiversity? Or unsa di ay ning ginatawag na biodiversity?
Well, kung muingon tag biodiversity, Teacher Chris, it is a term nga nag-describe how varied or unsa kadaghan ang mga nagkalain-lain nga living things in a specific area. Organisms are part of biodiversity and may be economically and ecologically valuable.
Okay. So, Teacher Ruby, how can we determine the value of organisms in biodiversity? Sa Bisaya pa, ilang bili?
Well, of course, their products are sources of food, medicine, clothing, shelter, and energy. These organisms are also important in maintaining balance in the ecosystem as they perform their specific roles. Una siya, Teacher Chris, ang ginatawag nato nga direct economic value.
Tama, no? In fact, naapoy nabasa nga naapoy uban species nga nag-maintain sa quality sa natural bodies of water. Then, others nag-prevent sa soil erosion and floods, cycle materials in the soil, and absorb pollutants.
Correct, Teacher Chris. Mosad na siya ang ginatawag nato nga indirect economic value. In fact, others feed on insects and pests which control the population of organisms in a certain environment, thus making the ecosystem balanced and stable. Naasabtay ginatawag na aesthetic value sa mga species, where they provide visual or artistic enjoyment, like a forested landscape and the calming beauty of a natural park.
Oh, mao ba, Teacher Ruby? Dapat gidi ay nato i-value ang presence of biodiversity in our ecosystem, as it plays a crucial role. Biodiversity plays a crucial role because it supplies us with oxygen and clean water. It cycles carbon and fixes nutrients. It enables plants to grow and therefore feed us, keep pest species and diseases in check, and help protect us against flooding and regulate the climate.
Tama, Teacher Chris. Gusto lang na ko balikan ang word na stable, Teacher Chris, no? So when we say stability, Teacher Chris, what do you think ang pasabot, ana?
Mag-joke ang takto pero ayun na lang. Later na pag stable na ang internet connection. Bitaw, when we talk about stability in an ecosystem, it describes how resilient, how tough or unsa kalig-on ang ecosystem to withstand changes na pwedeng mahitabo sa environment. Kani nga changes may severely reduce biodiversity and in turn, ma-unstable ang ecosystem.
That is actually true, Teacher Chris. So that means to say nga ang stability sa usa ka ecosystem nagdepende sad siya sa gidaghanon or number of organisms per unit area. Mao ang ginatawag na population density. Again, population density. So, kung ubos ang population density, meaning gamay ra kaayo ang mga organisms nga naa nga area and vice versa.
Super agree ko, ana, Teacher Ruby. In addition, communities with many different species or high ang biodiversity will be able to withstand environmental changes better than communities with only a few species or low ang biodiversity. There is really strength in numbers.
True. So next up, let's talk about population growth. Teacher Chris, pag maingon tag population growth, usa day pasabot, ana?
Teacher Ruby, pag maingon tag population growth, mao ni siya ang pagtaas or pagsaka sa number of individuals in a population. Take note mga learners ha, a population may increase if resources pareha sa pagkaon, tubig, and puyanan or ginatawag na shelter are readily available. May i-add lang, Ma'am Bem, na ang population growth is often related to the biotic potential of organisms. Mao ni siya ang kapasidad sa individual or population to reproduce under ideal conditions. When we say ideal conditions, this include sufficient food supply, no predators, and lack of disease.
So, barley, Sir Chris, in general, large organisms such as elephants and whales have low biotic potentials, whereas small organisms such as insects and bacteria have high biotic potentials.
You got it right, Teacher Ruby. Mga students, nakakasabay pa ba kayo? If hindi, pwede ninyong balik-balikon o basa ang concept sa growth population. read additional resources on it, or even watch videos related to the topic we are discussing? If oo, let's proceed to the next topic.
Yes, Sir Chris. If we talk about population growth, hindi mawawala ang trends commonly observed in a population, the exponential growth and ang logistics growth. Can you share some insights on those two types of population growth?
Oh yes, Ma'am Ruby. Mga dear students, kindly listen ha. Kung maingon tag exponential growth, it happens when the population grows faster and faster as time goes on. Teacher Ruby, nag-wonder lang ko ba if possible ba ang exponential growth in a real-world setting?
Well, Teacher Chris, exponential growth is only possible when infinite resources are available and there is little to no competition, predation, and disease. This is not common in the real world, Teacher Chris, because species compete for limited resources. Pero naatay good example for an exponential growth. A common example for this type of population growth is algal bloom, where the population of the algae in water bodies rapidly increase due to too much concentration of nutrients present in the water.
Teacher Ruby, we are done with exponential growth. Let us go on the other side of the equation. Isa po ni siyang ginatawag nato na logistics growth. Sounds so familiar kaayo.
Lagi, familiar jud kaayo siya, Teacher Chris, because this term is not only used in science, but also in other fields of studies like entrepreneurship and economics. Now, kaning klasihang population growth accounts for the limited resources, competition, predation, and environmental factors that can slow down population growth.
Teacher Ruby, I have asked this question to the exponential growth. Now, turn na po to discuss if possible ba ang logistics growth in a real-world setting.
Posible kaayo, Teacher Chris. Remember, students, this logistics growth occurs in environment where there are few individuals and plentiful resources. However, when the number of individuals becomes large enough, the resources are depleted and the growth rate slows down. Eventually, the growth rate levels off as the carrying capacity is reached. Common examples of these are microorganisms in a culture plate.
Now, to better understand population growth, we need to understand also the concept of carrying capacity.
Mao jud, Sir Chris. Unsa jud di ay ning carrying capacity di ay? Now, mga students, listen attentively. When we say carrying capacity di ay, Teacher Chris, this actually determines the maximum population size of a species that the ecosystem can sustain with its natural resources. Kini siya na siya'y direct influence sa population size as well as birth rates, death rates, and movement of species. Ang population will increase and has an exponential growth when the resources are not limited. This exponential growth will turn to logistic growth as it encounters environmental resistance.
Yes, Teacher Ruby. May I add lang the concept of carrying capacity and environmental resistance can be visualized using the spilling bucket diagram as seen on page 5 of your self-learning modules for Science 10, Week 7. Okay, let me explain The water put into the bucket is like the production of the things put into the ecosystem. When the bucket is all full, it is like an ecosystem that has met its carrying capacity. When the bucket reaches the top, the rest of the water coming in overflow. Like when an ecosystem overpopulates, if you do not want to overflow your ecosystem, you stay under the carrying capacity.
Tama. So, it's important to take note, mga students, that we also have 3 aspects of biodiversity measurement. First is the ecosystem diversity, second, species diversity, and genetic diversity.
Teacher Ruby, unsay kalainan sa tulo ka classic aspect of biodiversity measurement?
Okay, let me explain. The first is ecosystem diversity. When we say ecosystem diversity, it refers to the number of ecosystems that are present in a location. Kaduha, Species diversity, it refers to a variety of species in a given ecosystem. And ang ikatulo, genetic diversity, it refers to the variations in genes between individuals of a species.
Alright, crystal clear kayo ang explanation ni Teacher Ruby. And, dili na to pwede kalimtan na naay mga factors which affect the biodiversity. Now, may I ask you students kung familiar ba kamo sa density-dependent limiting factor o sa density-independent limiting factor? Familiar ba? If not, Teacher Ruby is here to the rescue.
Okay, mga students, kaway-kaway naman tayo dyan. Mag-stretch-stretch sa ta. So, while listening, here is the difference between the two. A factor that regulates a population's growth and is influenced by population density is called a density-dependent limiting factor. If the population's density does not directly influence changes in population growth, then it is called a density-independent limiting factor. The students, naapod tayo gitawag na limiting factors. So kindly listen to my instructions ha, and check the following images on your module. Okay na? So as you can see on image 1 on page 6 of your modules, that picture depicts diseases and parasites. Infectious diseases and parasites spread faster in densely populated areas. On image 2, kana siya ang competition for resources. The organisms with better adaptations to obtain food resources will be able to reproduce more often, and its population will grow. The organisms that have limited abilities to compete for the resources will not reproduce as often, and may not be fit enough to live long and can cause their population to decrease.
Now, on image 3, kana siya ang predation, guys. Plenty of prey are available. Predators will be able to eat sufficiently, thus have the energy to reproduce much and increase their numbers. The population of their prey will begin to decrease as more and more of them are eaten. However, the predator population will eventually reach carrying capacity. There will not be enough prey for all of the predators in the predation since the predators themselves compete for their prey resource. As the number of prey decreases, so will be the number of predators. There is not enough food to sustain them. And for the last image, kana siya ang ginatawag nato na immigration. Immigration occurs when, as a population approaches its carrying capacity, and individual organisms leave and go to a new area where they can find enough resource for survival and reproduction. This will obviously cause a decrease in the number of organisms in a population.
Alright, congratulations! We are now done with the topic on how the diversity of species increases the probability of adaptation and survival of organisms in a changing environment. I hope everything is clear and understood.
Yes! Nahuman ba yun? It's just easy, right? I told ya. But if you still have clarifications, so you can always go back to what is each section.
Okay, so before we go to the assessment part, teacher, what are the 4 limiting factors that affects population density?
Okay, recap lang nato guys ha, so that we cannot forget this terminologies. First is disease and parasites. Second, competition for resources. Third, predation. And lastly guys, ang emigration.
Okay, so for now, please open your module to page 13 and get your pen for the assessment.
Are you ready now, students? We will now start discussing the assessment or evaluation. Okay, so for number 1, kindly listen ha. After this, kindly read the options. Okay, which of the following causes a decreasing wildlife population in most of the places in our country? What do you think is the answer for this item, Teacher Ruby?
Well, based on the options, Teacher Chris, it is not letter D. Because the presence of natural disturbances like fire, drought, diseases, and wind surely cause a decrease in wildlife population, but not the absence or the loss of it. Actually, Teacher Chris, ang letters A, B, and D are the results of the loss of carrying capacity. As what you have mentioned earlier, nga pag musubra na ang number of organisms in a particular area, there will come a time nga mag-compete or mag-ilog na sa natural resources like habitat, food, water, and sunlight. Survival of the fittest ika nga. So if you can't make it, you are out of the game. In this case, a decrease in wildlife population. So the answer to this is definitely letter C.
Okay, students, grabe. Only the strong shall survive. So be strong. Tama, Teacher Ruby. The answer is letter C, loss of carrying capacity.
Alright, let's proceed to number 2. Davao is known for its wide variety of fruits and other plant species that makes it really attractive to tourists. Which of the following classification of biodiversity value is described? Teacher Chris, do you want to answer?
Of course. Naminaw man ko nimo ganiha while discussing. For number 2, since we are referring to the wide variety of fruits and other plant species in Davao, Teacher Ruby, that draws attention from tourists. Even without using them, then we can say that the organism found in Davao has an indirect economic value. Also, nag-help sad siya in giving identity to Davao. So I think ethical or cultural can also be added to the organism's value.
Okay, so you've really paid attention, Teacher Chris, to what I was saying earlier. So the answer to that is letter D, both A and C. So I hope the students were also retaining the information given to them. Let's now proceed to number 3.
Okay, for question number 3, Nino breeds white mice in a cage. After a few generations, the breeder observes that the white mice are more aggressive towards each other. The young are less healthy and more young white mice die. What do you think will happen to the population of white mice? Okay, back to you, Teacher Ruby.
Back to me na pala? Alright, for number 3, easy raman siguro ni sa ila, Teacher Chris. But since daghang white mice ang nangamatay due to their aggressiveness, of course, and considering na ang mga young white mice are less healthy, we could expect the population of the white mice will surely decrease, and that is letter C.
Again, Teacher Ruby, the strong shall survive. Correct. It's letter C for number 3. Uy, nagka-rhyme siya, no?
Wow, poetic. Nice. So let's proceed to number 4. Cocoa leaf sap infestation outbreak has been declared in some parts of the Philippines. The cocoa leaf sap feeds on the sap of the coconut tree and injects toxic enzymes, resulting in discolored leaves and deformed plant tissues that retard its growth of coconut tree. This results in a decrease of the survival rate of coconut trees. Which of the following factors limit the population of coconut trees?
The keyword there, I think, Teacher Ruby, is the word infestation, which means the state or ang kahimtang sa usa ka organism it is invaded or overrun by pests or parasites. Since the cocoa leaf sap feeds on the sap of the coconut tree, the cocoa leaf sap is considered a parasite to the coconut tree, causing the leaves to be discolored and the deformation of leaves. The answer is, drum rolls please, letter C.
And now, we're halfway to the assessment. Hooray! Are you still there, students? I hope you are still alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic.
Okay, let's proceed to number 5. What is adaptation? Okay, fill in the blanks ha. It is a physical or behavioral characteristic that helps.
Well, to fill in that blank, well, Teacher Chris, adaptation to the environment is the key for survival. Otherwise, it would be very impossible for the organisms like plants and animals to grow and reproduce and for other living things like humans and animals to walk. The answer for number 5 is letter B.
Adaptation is the key for the survival.
So, naglahi na imong tagline, Teacher Chris?
Just collecting some nuggets of wisdom from the discussion, Teacher Ruby.
Okay, let's jump to number 6. If the number of births in a population is the same as the number of deaths in a population, Teacher Chris, what will happen to the growth of the population?
Well, in that case, Teacher Ruby, na same lang ang number of births sa number of deaths, then we can conclude that the growth of population will...
It will stay the same? Sakto ba, Teacher Chris?
Correct! Teacher Ruby, it will stay the same. The population growth will increase if the birth rate is larger than the death rate. And if the death rate is larger than the birth rate, what will happen to the population growth?
Well, if the death rate is larger than the birth rate, the population growth will surely decrease.
Right! So number 6 is letter C. The population growth will stay the same. 6 questions down, 4 more questions to go. Students, I hope you are still there listening. Number 7 na ta ha. Why would advances in medicine lead to population growth?
Well, Teacher Chris, sa mga options again, it's not letter B because I don't see the connection with the question. And also, having multiple births does not also guarantee us to have an increase in growth population. That is only if lesser ang death rates compared to birth rates. Lalo naman ang letter C because there are babies who survive even without medicine. So I would choose letter A. The advances in medicine helps the treatment of deadly diseases allows people to live longer.
Well, you answered letter A. Is that the correct answer, students? Well, if same mo ang answer ni Teacher Ruby, then you are correct.
What is the carrying capacity of the given graph? So students, look at the graph on number 8 and on the y-axis that is the population size and the x-axis signifies time.
Yes, Teacher Ruby, and I hope, students, you have observed where the population growth rate slows down and eventually, the growth rate levels are off as the carrying capacity is reached. So since nag-stop na o grow ang population at 1,000, we can say that the carrying capacity based on the graph is at 1,000 only.
So the answer is letter A. Tama ba, Teacher Chris? Nakuha ba nato, students? Kapit lang.
Yes, correct yun, Teacher Ruby. So ano na, students, we are nearing our last stretch already. So I just wish nga hold on lang mo din na sa inyong mga lingkuranan. Again, for number 8, it is letter A. Alright, for number 9, this is the question. Okay, listen ha. When a population grows past the ecosystem's carrying capacity, what happens to the population? Kindly read the options and then kindly answer. Now, Teacher Ruby, any thoughts on this item?
Well, as what mentioned earlier, when the population growth exceeds the carrying capacity, the ecosystem may become unsuitable for the species to survive. If the population exceeds the carrying capacity for a long period of time, resources may be completely depleted. Populations may die off if all of the resources are exhausted. So that leads to species extinction. So the best answer is letter C.
Did you have the same answer with Teacher Ruby, students? If yes, then you are definitely correct. Good job! You are really using those brain cells to good use.
That's right. Many of our students, Teacher Chris, are really exerting effort to answer their modules. And tuning into this station would really help them in their module session. So kapit lang. And for the last number, number 10, here we go for the $1 million question. Teacher Chris, what do you call the term that describes wherein the largest number of individuals in a species that an environment can support long-term?
Maning-mani o yun kaayo sa atong mga students, Teacher Ruby. Okay, definitely not option B and not option C. So our options would be either A or B. However, for letter D, which is population density, by definition, this just refers to the number of organisms per unit area. So, that's not the answer we are looking for. It is definitely letter A.
Right. Again, it is letter A, Teacher G. Chris. May tama ka. Just remember, students, that carrying capacity is determined by a few key factors: food availability, water, and space.
That's right, Teacher Ruby. Okay. Thanks God. We are done. Good job to all of us. Are you satisfied, students? Do not worry, because we have plenty of modules to discuss in the future.
Thank you very much for being with us and for actively listening. We hope that we helped you in answering your module easier and with fun. And for that, please join me and Teacher Chris in giving a round of applause for everyone.
Yay! This is Jacques A. Marquez
And Ruby Macy Restauro
at your service. Till we
All right. Thank you so much, Teacher Ruby and Teacher Jekris of Protection National Trade School. Okay, so Ma'am Mila, congratulations. Maayo na pud kaayo ang pagka-perform sa imuhang mga teachers, ma'am, no? That's so nice.
Population growth and carrying capacity. Imbes na nakapasok sa capacity. At ang mga estudyante, hindi masalit
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Sir Dean, wa kay laing madungag atong kuan?
Ma'am Shay, ato sa kang dungan-dungan
Aha.
and then ato atong pasundot po ang atong ikaduha na itong IPS, no?
Yes.
Sa mathematics.
Okay, so later on kung natay madungag ato ang dungagan, no? But for this moment, Sir Salem, please go ahead.
Yes, Ma'am Shay and Sir Deno, my Buntag.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam. Once again, a pleasant morning. Adlaw na sa Lunes para sa mathematics. Karon buntaga, nausab kitay radio teacher ang mag-discuss grade 3 module 3 about converting common units of meter. This is teacher 3 of Balangasan Central Elementary School, a grade 3 teacher. She finished her Bachelor of Elementary Education at Inicio, Arali City. She finished her master's degree at Bukidnon State University or Bokto. She is now a PhD ISD sa Instructional System Design at Bukidnon State University. She is MTAP trainer, a lesson exemplar writer, and a researcher. Our radio teacher this morning is Teacher Ria P. Sabasali. Sadeno and Ma'am.
Okay.
Morning, grade 3 pupils. This is your DEPED PAGADIAN City School on the Air. I'm happy to be with you in this learning session. I'm Teacher Yayang from Balangasan Central Elementary School, your teacher guide for today. Kumusta mga bata? Ania na usab kita sa atong pagtulunan karong buntaga. Sa dili pa kita magsugod, palihog og kuha sa inyong mga module sa Mathematics 3, Module 3, imuhang lapis, eraser ug papel, kay kinahanglanon kini nato pag-ayo karon. Ug adlaw na kamoy meter stick, weighing scale, ug mga feeding bottles diha sa inyong balay, mamahimo usab nimo kining itapad karon. Gihangyo og usab kamo mga bata sa pagpangita og komportable nga lugar sa inyong Pinoy-anan para sa atoang lesson karong buntaga. Mga bata, atong andamon ang atong mga kaugalingon para sa atong lesson karong buntaga. Palihog og abre sa inyong booklet in Mathematics 3, Module 3, page 1. Sa unang bahin, nakasulat ang what I need to know. Dinhi nga module, ato ang hisgutan ang hitungod sa pag-visualize o paghanduraw, pag-represent o pag-convert sa common units of measure from larger to smaller units and vice versa. Ang mga common units of measure nga atong ilakip sa atong lesson karong buntaga mao ang meter and centimeter, gram and kilogram, ug liter and milliliter. Ato usab hisgutan ang pag-solve sa routine and non-routine problems involving conversion of common units of measure. Ang mga operations nga involve ani adunay dako nga role sa atoang pang-adlaw-adlaw nga pagkinabuhi. Pananglitan. Ug mapalit ka og mga konsumo sa merkado, kasagaran, kilogram o gram ang atong gamiton. Tungod kay halos tanan nga palaliton, kinilo na kini sama sa isda, karne, lamas, gulay, prutas ug uban pa. Ug mamalit usab kita og mga kahoy, mga pisi, panapton, ribbon, floor mat, mga kapal, kurtina, plastic cover, hose, wires ug uban pa, metro ug sentimetro usab ato ang gamiton. Kung mga likido usab o mga liquid, mogamit kita sa litro ug mililitro sama sa mga vitamins, soft drinks, mantika, toyo, suka, liquid soap, liquid juice, fresh milk, mineral water ug uban pa. Inig mahuman kita ani nga module, makamauna kita nga una, muhanduraw o visualize, mo represent ug mo convert sa common units of measure. Ikaduha, mo solve sa routine ug non-routine problems involving common units of measure. Sugod kita sa what I know, page 1. Test A. Read and answer the following problems. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. Which is longer, object A or object B? Adunay picture sa putol nga lapis o flagpole nga makita dinha sa number 1. Hain ang mas taas. Ang object A, putol nga lapis nga 10 centimeters ang gipason, o ang object B, flagpole nga 10 meters ang gipason. Very good! Letter B, ang flagpole jud. Tungod kay 10 meters kini. Number 2, which is heavier? A 1 kilogram calamansi or letter B, 1,000 grams of mango? Adunay picture sa balance scale nga naay mga kalamansi sa pikas ug aduna usab mga mangga na hinog sa pikas. Hain ang mas bugat. Hain ka mga bata, ang 1 kilogram nga kalamansi o ang 1,000 grams na mangga? Insakto, parehas lamang ang ilahang gibugaton. Buot pasabot, equal ang 1 kilogram sa 1,000 grams. Ug lantawon nato ang picture, wala naka-indicate ang gibugaton sa balance scale. Apan, makita nato nga nag-balance ang scale, meaning balanse or equal ang gibugaton sa 1 kilogram kalamansi ug 1,000 grams ng mangga. Number 3, ang kita sa number 3 mga bata. Which has greater amount of liquid? A, 1 liter or B, 30 milliliter? Ang A, usa ka volumetric flask na adunay sulod nga 1 liter nga strawberry juice. Ato na lang ning hunahunahon nga lamian nga juice. Ug ang letter B, test tube na adunay 30 milliliter nga strawberry juice. Mga bata, hain ang mas daghan? Ang 1 liter sa volumetric flask o ang 30 milliliter sa test tube? Tama, letter A. Mas daghan ang 1 liter kaysa sa 30 milliliter. Karon, adto kita sa test B, sa what I know. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. A big rubbing alcohol holds 2 liters. How many milliliters is this? A, 1,000 milliliter. B, 1,500 milliliter? Or letter C, 2,000 milliliter? Very good. The answer is letter C, 2,000 milliliter. Ang usa ka dako nga rabing alcohol nga adunay 2 liters, ang iyang sulod kay 2,000 milliliter. Number 2. I weigh 33 kilograms. How many grams are needed to make it 35 kilograms? A. 1,000 grams. B. 2,000 grams. Or letter C. 3,000 grams. Akong gibag-aton kay 33 kilograms. Sana all, no? 33 kilograms ra. Pila ka gramo ang kinahanglan para mahimong 35 kilograms? Yes, very good. Letter B. 2,000 grams ang kinahanglan para mahimong 35 kilograms. Karon mga bata, adto kita sa what's in. What are the common units of measure for length, mass, and capacity? Ang common units of measure sa length kay meter o centimeter. Sa mass, kilogram o gram. Sa capacity, kay liter o milliliter. Adto kita karon sa what's new. Study and analyze the given figures. Answer the questions that follow. Adunay tulo ka picture. Letter A, 1 meter. Ginganlan kini og wood A. Letter B, 1 centimeter. Ginganlan kini og wood B. Letter C, 1 meter is equal to blank centimeters. Ginganlan kini og wood C. Question. Which of the pieces of wood is the shortest? Ang A ba nga 1 meter? Wood A? Wood B nga 1 centimeter? Or wood C nga 1 meter? Aha daw ang pinakamubo. Tama, ang letter B, wood B. Tungod kay 1 centimeter lang kini. Next question. Are wood A and C of the same length? Parehas ba o gidak-on ang wood A o wood C? Yes. Ato ang makita nga parehas sila katasa. Parehas ilahang sukod tungod kay pareho sila nga 1 meter. How many centimeters are there in wood C? Pila ka sentimetro ang wood C? Kung inyo ka nang ihapon mga bata, malibat na kamo iniguman. Pero, bitaw mga bata, equal ka na sa 100. Tungod kay, ang 1 meter is equivalent sa 100 centimeters. Hinumdumi mga bata, ayaw gyud kalimti nga ang 1 meter equivalent sa 100 centimeters. Ang meter is the fundamental unit of length in metric system nga equal sa 100 centimeters. Para ma-convert ang meter to centimeter, i-multiply lang ang number sa meter by 100. Ana ra kasayon mga bata. Example, 3 meters is equal to blank centimeters. Unsaon kini pag-solve? 3 meters i-multiply sa 100. It is equal to 300 centimeters. Iniguman og multiply sa 100, mawala na ang meter nga unit. Mailisan na og centimeter. So, ang 3 meter is equal to 300 centimeters. Ang centimeter mga bata is the unit of length in metric system that is equal to 100 of a meter. Dili 100 of a meter ha? Or 1/100 sa usa ka metro. To convert centimeter to meter, divide the number of centimeters by 100. Opposite kini sa pag-convert sa meter to centimeter. Ang pag-convert sa centimeters to meter, i-divide ang number sa centimeter by 100. Example, 300 centimeters is equal to blank meters. Unsaon kini pag-solve? 300 centimeters divided by 100. And that will give us 3 meters. Inighuman og divide sa number by 100, mawala na ang centimeter nga unit, mailisa na og meter. 300 centimeter is equal to 3 meters. Nasabtan ba mga bata? Adto kita karon sa grams. Ang gram is used to measure the weight or mass of very light objects. To convert grams to kilogram, we divide the number of grams by 1,000. Tungod kay 1 kilogram is equivalent to 1,000 grams. Mga bata, ato ang dapat masabtan kung unsa ang insakto. Apan, mga bata, sa atong komunidad, adunay mga butang nga naandan na. Ayaw mo kalibog ha? Kinsa na'y nakakuyog sa merkado sa ilang mga ginikanan kaniadtong wala pay pandemic. Diba? Kung mupalit sa merkado, timbangon ang palito nato, sama pananglit sa kamatis. Naandan sa merkado or sa uban nga mga tindahan, bisan pa sa inyuhang mga ginikanan mga bata, naandan nila nga ang 1 ka kilo, 3 ra daw ka gramo. Apan kabalo ko nga nasayod na sila sa unsay insakto, mao lamang kini ang naandan. Maoy naandan, accepted, apan dili nagpasabot nga insakto. Tungod kay, ang 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. Pero mga bata, kadaghanan sa mga tindera, naandan nila nga kung mupalit, 10 ra ka kilo, 10 ra ka gramo ang 1 ka kilo. So atuan na lang ng sabton mga bata ha. Ang importante nga nakahibalo ta unsay insakto pananglitan. Mupalit ka og tunga sa kilo nga kamatis. Ang uban mo ingon nga mupalit ka og 5 ka gramo nga kamatis. Maunay na andan, accepted, apan dili na insakto. Tungod ang insakto gyud, 500 grams ang tunga sa kilo. Mao kini isa sa mga misconceptions nga angay makorek mga bata ha. Pwede kaayo nimo i-share sa uban in a nice way nga ang 1 kilogram dili 10 grams, kundi 1,000 grams. So, mga bata, to convert kilogram to gram, divide the number of kilogram by 1,000. Example, 5,000 grams is equal to blank a kilogram. Kung saan kini pag-answer? 5,000 divided by 1,000 is equal to 5 kilograms. Inighuman og divide sa number sa grams by 1,000, mawala na ang grams nga unit. Mailisan na og kilogram. So, 5,000 grams is equal to 5 kilograms. Adto kita karon sa kilogram mga bata. Kilogram is used to measure the weight or mass of heavier objects. To convert kilogram into grams, multiply the number of kilograms by 1,000. Tungod kay, 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. Example, 5 kilogram is equal to blank grams. So, pila ka gramo sa 5 ka kilo. Unsay buhaton? 5 kilograms times 1,000. Muhatag kini kanato og 5,000 grams. So, timan-an inihuman og multiply sa number of kilogram by 1,000, mawala na ang kilogram nga unit. Mailisan na og grams. Karon, adto kita sa liter. Liter is used to measure volume of liquid. Ang liter gamit sa pagsukod sa gidaghanon sa mga likido. sama pananglit sa mga mineral water o sa soft drinks. To convert liter to milliliter, multiply the given number of liter by 1,000 tungod kay 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliter. Example, 7 liters is equal to how many milliliters? Kung saan pag-answer? 7 liters times 1,000 will give us 7. Og ang unit mahimo ng milliliter. Dili na liter. Milliliter is used to measure small amounts of liquid. Kaning milliliter, iyang symbol kay gamay nga M o dako nga L, milliliter, kasagaran gamit kung moinom ka mo og mga vitamins nga syrup. Pananglitan 5 ml, 10 ml, or 15 ml, mao kini ginagamit. Makita ninyo sa mga taksanan sa mga tambal sa hilanat or sa mga vitamins. To convert milliliter to liter, divide the number of milliliter by 1,000. Tungod kay 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. Example, 7,000 milliliters or milliliters is equal to how many liters? 7,000 divided by 1,000 will give us 7 liters. Iniguman og divide, mawala na ang ml, mailisan na og liter. Klaro ba mga bata? Mahimo kamo nga mo contact sa inyong mga magtutudlo kung aduna pa kamoy mga pangutana or gikalibugan. Adto kita karon sa what's more. Direction. Convert the following units of measure. Match column A to column B. Write the answer on a separate sheet of paper. Question. Column A, number 1. 10,000 milliliters of water is blank liter. Number 2. 5 meters is blank centimeters. Number 3. 19,000 grams is blank kilograms. Number 4. 700 centimeters is blank meters. And number 5. 20 liters is blank milliliters. Column B, letter A, 19 kilograms. Letter B, 7 meters. Letter C, 20,000 milliliters. Letter D, 10 liters. Letter E, 500 centimeters. What is your answer in number 1? 10,000 milliliters of water is how many liters? Yes, very good. The answer is letter D. 10,000 milliliters of water is 10 liters. What is your answer in number 2? 5 meters is blank centimeters. Yes, correct. Letter E. 5 meters is 500 centimeters. What is your answer in number 3? 19,000 grams is how many kilograms? Tama. Letter A. 19,000 grams is equal to 19 kilograms. What is your answer in number 4? 700 centimeters is how many meters? Insakto. The answer is letter B. 7 meters is equal to 700 centimeters. What is your answer in number 5? 20 liters is equal to how many milliliters? Tama. The answer is letter C. 20 liters is equal to 20,000 milliliters. Adto kita karon sa lesson 2. Routine and non-routine problems involving conversion of common units of measure. Direction. Choose the letter that corresponds to your answer. My mom sent 2 packages of Philippine products to my uncle in Australia. One package weighed 1,450 grams and the other weighed 1,275 grams. How much did the two packages weigh in grams? A. 2,750 grams. B. 2,700 grams. C. 2,750 grams. To solve a one-step problem solving involving the conversion of common units of measure, we follow the 4 steps plan in problem solving. This time, we resolve this problem using Polya's steps. Una, understand. Sa understand, atong sayron kung unsa ang given, what are the given, and what is being asked, unsay gipangita. Second step, plan, planuhon. What operation will solve the problem? Unsay gamiton nga operation para ma-solve ang problem? Ug unsa ang mathematical sentence nga makasolve sa problem? Sunod na step, ang third step, solve ato ang isulbaron ang problem. Then the fourth step is look back. Mao kini nga part ang pag-review sa imuhang answer. Kinahanglan nga humanon gid nato ang 4 steps tungod kay kaning look back mao kini ang permanente nga mahikalimtan. Daghan ang nasayop sa answers kay wala gitiwas ang proseso. Kinahanglan nga i-review ang answers kung insakto ba jud kini. So, the answer is letter A. Tungod kay ato ang gi-add ang 1,450 grams plus 1,275 grams. Muhatag kini og 2,725 grams. Okay, adto kita sa what's more. Direction. Read, analyze, and solve. Then write the answers on a separate sheet of paper. Number 1. The perimeter of the house lot is 75 meters. How many centimeters is that? A. 7,800 centimeters. B. 780 centimeters. C. 78 centimeters. The answer is letter A. 7,800 centimeters. Ato kita sa number 2. Laura can consume 2.5 liters of water, 500 milliliters of lemon juice, and 250 milliliters of malunggay juice in one day. How many milliliters of liquid drinks can she consume in one day? A. 3,000 milliliters. B. 3,750 milliliters. Or letter C. 3,250 milliliters. The answer is letter B. Very good. 3,750 milliliters. Now, number 3. What is the height of the school gate in meters? If it is 300 centimeters. A. 2 meters. B. 3 meters. C. 6 meters. The answer is letter B. 3 meters. Okay, number 4. Aling Perla bought 7 1/4 kilogram of buko to make a buko pie. How many grams of buko did she buy? A. 7,500 grams. B. 7,250 grams. Or letter C. 7,000 grams. The answer is very good. Letter B. Number 5. Marites bought 1/2 kilograms of beef and 1/2 kilograms of chicken. How many grams of meat did Marites buy in all? A. 1,000 grams. B. 1,200 grams. Or letter C. 1,500 grams. The answer is correct. Letter A. 1,000 grams. Mga bata, what have you learned? What is a routine problem solving? A routine problem solving is a type of problem with an immediate solution. How about non-routine problem? It is a problem that typically do not have an immediate or apparent strategy for solving them. Iman-i mga bata, nga to ang lesson. To convert meter to centimeter, we multiply the number of meters by 100. To convert centimeters to meter, we divide the number of centimeters by 100. To convert kilogram to gram, we multiply the number of kilograms by 1,000. To convert grams to kilogram, we divide the number of grams by 1,000. And to convert liter to milliliters, multiply the given number by 1,000. And lastly, to convert milliliter to liter, divide the given number by 1,000. Now, you answer what I can do. Direction: read and answer the following questions. Write on a separate sheet of paper. For number 1, what is the answer? Yes, the answer is letter D. Very good. Number 2, what is your answer, children? The answer is letter B. And for number 3, the answer is letter C. Okay, mga bata. Adto kita karon sa assessment kay balo ko nga andam na kaayo mo para sa assessment. Ansiri ang assessment sa inyong module. Kung naglisod ka mo sa pag-answer sa assessment, mamahimo ka mo nga magpatabang kay mama or papa or kay ate o kuya. I-submit ang inyong answer sa inyong mga magtutudlo panahon sa tig-sauli ug module. Mga bata, nalipay og nalingaw ko sa atong lesson karong buntaga. Hinaot nga malipayon na sab kamo sa pag-accomplish sa inyong module today. It was fun working with you kids. This has been Teacher Yayang. Thank you so much. Until the next radio lesson. Just a little important reminder, kids. Since we are experiencing a global health emergency brought by COVID-19 pandemic, it is best to take extra care of our health. Practice self-care while doing your part in taking good care of your studies. Once again, this is Teacher Yayang. See you next time. This is DEPED PAGADIAN City School on the Air. Good day, everyone.
Okay, so thank you so much, Teacher Yayang Sabasales of Balangasan Central Elementary School. Daghang salamat, ma'am. And lapas na kita sa tuwang oras. Sir Kim and Ma'am Neil, any parting words?
Program DEPED PAGADIAN, EDUKASYON KABATAAN, during sa 104.7 FM, Malindang Broadcasting Network every Monday to Friday. Watch and subscribe to Malindang Broadcasting Network YouTube channel for you to always be notified all of our lessons on the air. To everyone, thank you and keep safe.
Yes, I can.
Yes, Ma'am Sir Dan. To our avid listeners and viewers of Malindang Network Facebook page, who are always with us, particularly in our program, DEPED PAGADIAN, EDUKASYON KABATAAN, especially our mathematics grade 3 pupils and the respective parents. Thank you very much for giving yourselves a chance to learn on the air. Salamat kayo sa pagpaminaw ni Teacher P. Sabasales. I hope you learn a lot this morning from our teacher. The topic to discuss about converting common units of measure. I always say, observe IATF protocol wherever you are. May God bless us.
Okay. So, ma'am, daghot na tang gangay Tokyoon ato pero nahot lang kita sa oras. So, ato na lang tagsa itong mga ginikanan o sa atong mga estudyante nang hinaot kami nga dako og natabang ang mga diskusyon o explanation sa atong mga teachers broadcaster sa science o sa mathematics. O sa atong mga ginikanan o sa ato ang mga estudyante o doon na pa kami kalibog, pwede ninyo masunod ang maong science o math nga module discussion pinagi sa atong FB page sa Malindang Broadcasting Network. Okay, so sa sunod na usab nga higayon, daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw and stay safe.
Yes. Sa ngalan sa ato ang Schools Division Superintendent, Sir Danny Cordova, o sa tibuok, puwersa sa RBI team sa Pagadian City Division, kini ang inyong ubos na magtutudlo, sharing kan sabihin na ganyong knowledge is power, maing buntag.
Buntag.